All right, guys, I'm going to tell you the biggest opportunity in selling insurance over the next 20 years. Not only am I going to tell you what it is, I'm going to give you a detailed breakdown on why I feel so strongly why this one particular niche is going to be a great opportunity for the next 10 to 20 years. And if you're interested, stay tuned. My name is David DuFord, owner of DuFord Insurance Group. I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to learn more about joining my agency, click the links above and below. Thank you so much for watching. So what is the hottest niche to be in? It's 2021. What niche could possibly be hot for decades to come? And I'm going to tell you right now, it is selling insurance to baby boomers, seniors, old people. So here's the thing, guys. This is going to be probably one of the most stable, fast-growing, and exciting businesses to be in from a macro perspective, not just in insurance, but any type of business model, is selling anything to seniors, and including insurance products. So what I'm going to do some time spending here is kind of giving you some facts, relaying some facts to you that I've collected over time and understanding this demographic shift that's going along to explain to you why, again, it's so important to target senior citizens, I think, as a strategy in selling insurance, and why, even despite economic upheavals that may be down the pike, that we're in a business model that's, I think, a lot more secure than many of the other business models that are out there. So the first thing, of course, is the baby boomer population. And there's a big stat that you need to know if you don't know already, and it's this. Every day, as of 2021 to 2031, every day, 10 to 11,000 seniors are turning 65. Now, why does that matter? First of all, it's a daily trigger of 10 to 11,000 people a day. And when people turn 65, what do you connotate mostly to turning 65? Probably retiring. You know, put your feet up, enjoying life, not having to work anymore. And with that retirement comes a mentality shift from a mentality of gaining as much money as I can, accumulating as much money as I can, to now preserving the money that you have, as well as thinking into the future, understanding it's the latter part of your life, and planning ahead for the things that we know are going to happen. So a mindset shift happens, one of which is approaching and being honest about the fact we're going to die. And therefore comes into things like, for example, final expense coverage that are now much more important than it was when you were in your 50s or younger. And of course, other things like Medicare coverage, as well as considering even annuities to protect the principal that was accumulated over the many years of saving. And so this is huge because this mentality shift is happening at such a large rate that every single day there's more and more people that enter this particular type of mindset. The other factor that's really interesting is from 2020 to 2040, the senior population 65 and older is going to increase by 50%. So we're approximately around 50 million seniors 65 and older, and we're going to see approximately another 25 million come into that age range by 2040. So again, all of these people we can predictably assess will experience this kind of retirement mentality shift and be concerned with the products and insurance that are going to be associated with it, which again is why I just love selling insurance to seniors, because we can really help them with some of these concerns that they have. The other thing that's really cool about the senior market that is unlike right now, at least the younger markets, is that when seniors retire, Uncle Sam pays them a check. They get paid Social Security disability, or they get paid Social Security retirement consistently every month, right on time without delay, and has been paid out since the 40s or 50s, I think it's 40s, when Social Security was first put into practice. So this kind of guarantee on the client receiving a paycheck every single month means that selling something to these clients tends to have more security and more predictability and consistent premium payment. Now compare this in contrast with products that are sold that are really hot when the markets are hot for certain industries, but then go ice cold and really potentially put you at chargeback risk. perfect example is mortgage protection, a fantastic product that helps a lot of people, that is in vogue right now at the recording of this, with so many people buying houses, paying huge premiums for houses. But as soon as the market cools off or collapses, the number of new home sales slows down, and that decreases the lead flow. And even if there's an agent that interested does really well, if the lead flow changes, it can dramatically affect their business. This is not the case with anything in the senior market. If Social Security or disability goes away, there's going to be a bunch of angry seniors marching down Washington, D.C. streets, picketing for, political change to get their money back, because in a sense they really have paid into the system and should expect it. And the only way I see something like that happening is if this whole country goes down the toilet. So it's very unlikely that such dramatic change would happen that would affect us. And when it does, you'll find me in my bunker waiting out the Civil War. So, in continuing on here, the other thing that's nice about the senior market, especially now, and this is shifting slowly as the senior market, starts to get older but grew up in a different age, the vast majority of our seniors still have historically and continue to historically buy from traditional methods, either in-person sales or over-the-phone sales. And to an extent, eschew technology. They're not wanting to jump on the next app to buy their burial insurance policy. They actually want a professional to guide them through that decision-making process and to help them find the right one. So that's nice for us agents, because we don't have to know all this tech stuff to actually have an impact with our clients. We just have to know how to communicate with people and actually want to help them and pick up the phone or show up in person to make things happen. So this business is a lot more accessible to a lot more people. This is part of the reason why I decided to agency build in the final expense market versus, say, get into a completely different product line that isn't necessarily as accessible but more technologically advanced. Because there's a lot more agents that would love to sell, and it's easier to teach at scale a lot of people to come into this business when you've got a simple process that doesn't require technological know-how. So that's a huge advantage of this business from just anybody coming into it. If you care about people and want to help them and have a work ethic, you probably got a pretty good chance of success. And the other thing, the last factor here before we talk about how to specifically get down to the nitty-gritty of how do you actually position yourself for success in this business model. The last thing I think is really important is we're about to experience, in my opinion, over the next 5 to 10 years, a massive exodus out of the insurance sales agent business. What I mean by that is your average insurance agent is basically 59, 60 years old. And I can tell you this, being in the business 10 years now, you don't get into insurance sales to work and work and work full-time, hardcore, to drop dead of a stroke on the streets at 75. You don't really do that. You might think that way getting into it, but you realize pretty much after you get some success for 5 to 10 years that diversifying your income into passive income, and likewise being prepared to walk away or reduce your volume of business as you get into your 50s and 60s, is a worthwhile pursuit. And so what I'm saying here is that what I expect to start happening is there is going to be a lot of agency owners that are in this business that are looking for an exit strategy. I already kind of see that with some activity that's in the business with large organizations buying out agencies. And you're going to see more and more insurance agents leaving the business for no other reason than they're ready to retire. They've worked all their life and they want to enjoy it now, because that's really what insurance sales helps one to do. That's really hard to get otherwise. So what does this mean for you? It means there's a huge opportunity. You're going to see less and less competition in the business while you have more and more prospects to target. And it's likely that we've seen the track record of how much agents are coming into this business. I feel that the retirements are going to outpace the new agent entries. And certainly the amount of prospects coming into the senior market is going to outpace the amount of agents required to service them. And we see that a lot even in the Medicare space, where some of the Medicare rules of doing business have loosened, because arguably it's very difficult to do business, or was several years ago, to follow all the CMS rules, but to adequately serve the clientele. And one way to counter that is to loosen the the kind of new business strategy or rules to conduct business. So this is all a positive thing. And this is why I'm super hot on anything insurance sales to senior citizens. Now, the one thing you got to talk about, once you understand the fundamentals of what's going on, you got to start talking about the fundamentals of how to execute a strategy here. Because one of the things that's cool, but also a double-edged sword, is that there's so much opportunity with so many products in all of insurance, especially the senior market. But that doesn't mean you should go after all of them simultaneously. You should have a blueprint, you should have a strategy to employ so that you can get your little cut of the action without overwhelming yourself like so many people faultily do, and get out of the business too soon and miss really one of the best trends that is alive right now for anybody really coming into this business. So first of all, kind of some advice here, and this is something I've been doing for 10 years. I know the business very well, experientially as an agent and also as recruiting agents nationally into my virtual agency. The first thing is you gotta focus on one particular product to sell to seniors. Don't come into this business brand new wanting to sell final expense and Medicare and annuities and long-term care and dental plans. You're just going to overwhelm the senses and be no good to nobody. That's the worst thing you can do. Take the advice of every successful business owner and entrepreneur on the face of the planet, and that is to niche down deep, but more specifically, focus on your strengths and focus on one strategy. What I teach at DeFord Insurance Group, for example, is that most of my agents come in to focus on final expense. Final expense is the gateway to the senior market. It pays a decent first-year commission. It's generally pretty simple to get leads, and the sales process isn't so complicated that it's highly technical and hard for most people to grasp. And there's some people who never get it for sure, but it's a simple way to get started that's largely activity-based. And it's a scalable business model both to the agent can buy more leads, run more appointments, make more money, and likewise to teach it. So it's a great way to get people into the business. And so that's what I do. I think that's, for all the reasons I mentioned, why I think final expense is a great way to start with the senior business. But the important point is there's so much just with final expense that you don't want to overwhelm yourself with trying to do Medicare as well or annuities all at the same time. What you want to do instead is really get down to basics, get really good and focused, and then once you're established, consistently writing business without any fears or self-doubt that the money train may end, that you've just been lucky, and once you're consistent in execution of that one product strategy, then start to look at other strategies. I recommend my agents who have an intermediate skill level, just defined as what I just said, to start looking at Medicare, because you start to diverse your income. You start to create a passive source of income, because that's what Medicare does really well. And that's really what makes insurance sales really fun, is when you make money and you didn't have to go work the same day to get it. Maybe you did it years ago and you're getting paid a check while you're on vacation for the last month. That is well worth the effort and something everybody in this business really should be focused on, in my opinion. A couple other things here. When you get into this business, don't try to reinvent the wheel. This is critical, fundamental stuff. We know what works in this business. Like, if you like the idea of final expense, you don't have to make the stuff up. Go to an agency that already has done it successfully and has duplicated the process hundreds, if not thousands of times over, and can show you actual real-world success stories. That's what I do at DeFord Insurance Group. I don't want my agents to figure this stuff out, like come up with a strategy. I know what works. I was in the field full-time for years. And what I learned was from agents who are also in the field full-time for years. So I don't think it's necessary for you to come up with your own strategy, because why make mistakes that other people have already made? Humble yourself and just copy and paste whatever is working, do it, but find the agency that understands that will show you that blueprint of success. And then bottom line, here's the thing, guys. This is not a complicated or even an entertaining business. Well, there's some clients can be really entertaining. I've got some stories for you that are, maybe not safe for YouTube. Ask me one day and I'll tell you. But here's the thing, guys. You don't have to be successful in this. It's actually a boring business. It's about executing the fundamentals consistently over years and years. And that's where a lot of people get stuck up. They think that they're waiting for the next objection rebuttal that is going to blow everything out of the water, or the newest lead that has the secret language where everybody just throws your checkbooks at you. That's not what success really looks like. What success looks like is you find a system or a model, you duplicate it, you execute the strategy, you put enough activity in to get outputs, and you scale that up accordingly. But really the magic is you can consistently do that over many, many, many years and be consistent in execution. That's the kind of thing that's everybody knows, but it's boring, but it's true. And that's how you're going to see success ultimately, not just out of insurance sales or final expense, but anything in life is just following the fundamentals and executing them day after day after day. So I hope this gives you a little excitement about the insurance opportunity selling to seniors, along with some fundamental facts of the shifts demographically that are coming that are really going to be a benefit to us, as well as how to employ a strategy to get the most out of it. If you're interested in learning about how to join my agency to execute on these kind of strategies, I'm happy to have you. Simply go to daviddufour.com/FAQ. That's going to give you a rundown about how my agency works. To learn if it's a good fit for you, feel free to leave a comment below with any questions. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.